Judge.
Called. And can you read these two words together?
His visit.
Break it apart if you need to.
Visitation.
Yep. And what's the next one?
Rights.
Good. Do you know what visitation rights are? Because he talks about them in this passage a couple times.
I'm not sure.
So, visitation rights are when a family goes through a divorce, and visitation rights are when one parent has the right to visit the child when they're living with another parent. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, can you repeat to me the definition I just told you of visitation rights? Because he talks about it later on, too. So.
His dad would visit the child.
The dad or the mom would visit the child, right? Or could Brian go and visit his dad, technically?
No.
Well, in this,
yes.
Yes, in this instant, yeah. Okay. So, and it's overlooked by the court or by the judge. Okay. Do you know what a judge is? Because it's a multiple meaning word.
Someone who tells someone what to do.
Yep, and then...
Like the cops.
Yeah, okay. And then what does the verb, like, judging mean?
Tell them to do something.
Or if you are looking at somebody and you don't necessarily like or you do like how they're doing something. So if I was judging Mr. Lytle's teaching, for example, I would be taking notes on what he's doing, how he's doing it, whether I liked it, whether I didn't like it, which is also what a judge does. So they look at the parents and they see what they're doing, what he likes, what he doesn't like, and what he thinks would be good for the child. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let's continue. Okay, so
Formal.
Brian hated judges as he
Hated.
Lawyers. Judges that leaned over the
bench.
And asked Brian if he
Understood.
Good, thank you. Where he was to
Leave. Live.
if
Live.
thank you, live, and why. Judges with the
Caring.
look, that meant
Nothing.
as lawyers said
Legal.
phrases that meant nothing. Okay? So in that paragraph, it discusses or it explains to us who lawyers are and who judges are, right? So we kind of talked about who a judge is.
Yeah.
Do you know what a lawyer or who a lawyer is? Like what they do?
Help.
They do help. So in this, for example, his mom and his dad probably had a lawyer, and they talk with the judge, and they talk about why the mom is good or why the dad is good, and they go back and forth. So they kind of argue with each other a lot. Does that make sense? Because when he talks about the lawyers saying legal phrases that meant nothing, do you think that Brian understood what the lawyers were saying?
No.
No, because they kind of have their own lingo too, their own language in a sense. So it's harder for kids especially, and sometimes even adults to understand what they're saying. Okay? And then in the sentence it says, judges that leaned over the bench. Do you think he leaned over the bench you sit on outside?
No.
No. Do you know what kind of bench they're talking about here?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? That's okay. That's why I was asking. So there's two different types of benches that I'm aware of. So there's a bench. So how you're sitting in a chair, and so picture a probably like 6 inches of wood surrounding you in a half rectangle. Okay. That is what is considered a bench, because then when the lawyer needs to talk to the judge would lean over the bench to talk to the lawyer, or he would lean over to the side to talk to the child or the parents. Okay, so it's just this separation or this divider that goes higher than the table he's sitting at. So when he's reading through documents and stuff, no one can read over this bench. Okay?
Yeah.
So does that help you visualize what he's doing?
Yes.
Okay. So, the next paragraph, please. And then in about 10 minutes, we're going to work on the comprehension questions I have, okay?
So you're recording right now, or?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear any clicks or anything.
That's because I have it on silence, because you have really good ears, and so I knew you would hear it. Right?
You can edit it, right?
I can edit it.
Okay.
Okay? Make you look good? Is that what you're concerned about?
Kind of.
Don't worry about it, bud.
Because the people don't know me, they're gonna be like, because if they hear me like talking like off topic and stuff.
Oh, you're fine. That's okay. We all get off topic sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think Mr. Lytle gets off topic?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Do you think Miss Luff gets off topic?
So,
Yes.
not yet.
Well, not yet. Yeah. Yeah, not yet, right? But when we worked together before, did I get off topic sometime? Remember? Yeah, kind of. A couple times. Okay. So, you'll be okay. Don't worry about it. I'll make you look good. You're doing really well, so I feel like
In the summer.
yes, in the summer, Brian would live with his
Friend.
Go back. What contraction is that?
Father.
In the
School.
year with his.
Mother.
That's what the judge said after looking at
Papers.
on his desk and
Listening.
to the lawyers talk.
Lawyers talk. Talk. Words.
Good job, bud. Okay. So you know how we talked about visitation rights and deciding where a child would live?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what they were discussing in that paragraph. So where does Brian live during the school year?
Airplane. No,
Where does he live? He lives with his
father. He lives with his mother.
and then during the summer he lives with
Father.
okay? And then, so let's continue on, okay? You're getting really far, bud. Now,
No,
the plane is a harder one. Lurched slightly to the
right.
and Brian looked at the pilot. He was rubbing his
Shoulders.
is it shoulders or singular? Shoulder again. And there was the sudden
Smell.
of body gas in the
Plane.
good job, bud. Brian turned back to
Avoid.
embarrassing the
Payloads.
ooh, try it again. It's a word you know. So
Pilot.
pilot Fabulous. Who was obviously in some
Discovered this.
break it apart if you need to.
Discomfort.
Okay, so discomfort. Wonderful job, right? Must have stomach troubles. Okay, so now let's go back and look. Okay, so the first sentence it says, now the plane lurched slightly to the right.
It moved. It turned right.
It turned right. Do you think lurched directions means it turned easily or it turned suddenly?
Suddenly.
Okay. And Brian looked at the pilot. So did Brian think that was normal or did he find it strange that the plane? Strange. Awesome. Good. That was an inference. Good job, bud. Because does it say that he was like, wait, what?
No.
No. Okay. And why do you think Brian didn't say anything to the pilot about?
Because you can't hear.
Well, that's a good point. He can't hear him because of what? What does he have on?
Headphones.
Headphones or a headset. But why else? It tells you in the paragraph. To avoid.
Noise.
To what? To
Noise.
avoid. You thinking?
I don't know.
That's okay. So if you saw me walking down the hallway and I looked absolutely ridiculous and I smelled a little funky too, okay? What would be the polite thing to do? Would you tell me or would you keep your opinion to yourself? Keep your opinion to yourself because I might find it embarrassing. Okay? So Brian turned back to avoid embarrassing the pilot. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. Awesome. So we are going to move on to some of the comprehension questions I have for you.
So do I just get out of this?
Yes, please. Can you open a Word document for me?
A Word document?
Mm-hmm. That you'll send to Mr. Lytle that has your answers on it. So I can look at them later.
Do I write number one stuff or?
Yes, please, and your... I don't need your name. I don't think I got it.
Oh, that's a good point. You could do the date though, buddy.
Yeah, you can do the date. That would be wonderful. And if you could do it manually and not insert it, that would be great.
First time, just look at it.
Hmm? Cheater, pumpkin eater. Okay, you have the date? Thank you so much for fixing it. Turns the volume down so I can't hear you insert the date. Stinker. Perfect. Thank you very much.
How do you know what I did? Because you looked at the screen or?
I did.